This is just a short video on the disassembly and field stripping of the Polish RPD. Now this was a modified kit done by Project Arms. He did an excellent job on it. I'm extremely happy with the gun. First thing, of course, safety is concerned, and we want to make sure that the gun is empty, and it is. Open the top cover. This assembly here, just as spring loaded, you pull that back and lift it up, raise the top cover. That's as high as the top cover goes. Now it can be further removed with this pin, but there's no reason to do that in just the field stripping. Next thing you'll want to do is take an Allen wrench, you loosen up this nut. I get it 3/4 of the way loosened up, and then I just go ahead and push on that a little bit. So I've got something to grab a hold of on the other side. Finish unscrewing that. Once that Allen's off, I can go ahead and pull the pin out. There you go. Now we're going to remove the lower assembly from the receiver, and you just pull this back. Now it's spring loaded in there, so you want to take a little care. There's a spring assembly that will come flying out if you're not careful. There's that spring I was talking to you about there, and here's the block. Now the block, as you notice, it has an angled edge, hole drilled through it, and then it's been reamed out here to be a little bit larger. A little confusion at first as to which way that went in, but you notice the spring only fits in one side. It won't fit in here, fits in here, and the way it fits in the receiver only fits one way. So it makes reassembly pretty straightforward. Pretty easy. Now we have the lower separated. I'm going to remove the bolt. Just pull that back. The charging handle comes out. Back a little bit farther. And you have the gas piston assembly and the bolt. The bolt assembly has these two leaves or ears, one on each side. It's a retained firing pin, so you don't have to worry about that falling out. There's little tabs. Notice they go on the same side as the other part of the bolt here. You can reverse it, put it in this way. However, then those tabs are going to be on the wrong side, and it's not going to fit in the receiver. So yeah, it's pretty foolproof once you look at it. So it's a nice, simple assembly. Not quite as simple as an AK, but if it's your first belt fit like me, I was pretty happy with the ease at which it will disassemble and reassemble for field stripping, something that you need to do after you fire the rifle for cleaning. Okay, reassembly, take the gas piston and your bolt. Helps if you don't have two left thumbs, like me. So now you'll notice on the gas piston assembly and the carrier, there's some cutouts for the ears. They just fit in right like that. Now if you push it back, it slides in there, but you won't be able to get it into the receiver. So it's got to be forward. This then just simply slides into the receiver, to the rails. There we go. Now I only put this in part way because you need to put on that charging handle. So it only goes in one way. It's much like an M14 the way that that's set up. Now once that's on, now you can push that bolt forward and it'll bring your charging handle forward. Go ahead and lock your charging handle in. And now comes, which was initially the most difficult part, and that's just putting the spring assembly back on. Now a little technique that I've worked out that seems to work pretty good is I put the spring onto that rod, I go ahead and put this block in. Remember, it only goes one way. Like that. Now go ahead and start the lower. Get it on there just so it starts onto the receiver. Once it starts, what I do now is go ahead and compress this spring. It's a two-handed job. Once I get the spring compressed to about the end of the rod, now I just slide that block forward and I can line them up and I can release the pressure on that spring. Now just slide that whole assembly forward and that's it. Put your pin back in. And then you would just screw the nut on. Go ahead and close the top cover. And that's it. You're done. Hope you enjoyed the video.